PPAP. JPD.
What?
Then ask her think what is PD.
I want to buy a new fragrance.
You clap to start.
Alright, welcome back. It's our second episode. Can't believe we're still doing this, but today I have two other friends, Michelle and Gina, to join me on this podcast conversation. And hopefully today will be less than half the time what we took last video. But okay, so today we'll be talking about happiness and joy. I thought it's something that is pretty important as we go about learning about new things in uni and also pursuing a career after we're done with that. So today I'd just like to introduce two of them. So first, can I have Jin Hao? You can tell us who you are, which JC you're from, and what you're studying. I think you can talk into like that camera.
Hey, sup guys? I'm Jun Hao, Year 1 Computer Engineering student at
Scholar man.
National University of
Alright.
Singapore. I'm under the E-Scholars program with my previous friend
Flexer.
called Ian. And we are enjoying the benefits, man. Anyway, did I say I was from Hwa Chong? Yeah, anyway, me and Leong were like classmates since like I think 2015. Same project work group, same ILP group,
Carry.
same I don't know.
Orientation.
Same OG bro.
Enjoy.
Yeah. And it's been a long way, And okay, like something fun about me is I ate 7 tohua in 50 seconds before. I don't know whether that's amazing, but I think that's quite amazing. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, Michelle, how about yourself?
Now I'm stressed already. What? Hi, I'm Michelle. I'm studying medicine. Year 1 at Monash. And I was from Hwa Chong, so I knew Ethan from our OG.
OG 28.
Yes. Oh, you remember?
Of course.
I many apologies, but
Shout
yeah.
out to Wen Kai Tun Yo.
Oh my god!
Sugen bro, our best friend.
But
Eh, eh.
yeah, that's basically it. Something interesting would be I went for 2 separate surgeries to remove fish bone from my throat. But yeah, please try not to make me eat
Wait,
fish.
I actually never heard.
You never heard of this?
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
well, now you know.
Not friends.
We know the weakness.
Yeah.
Fish bones.
Yes.
Alright, so I guess we can start the session proper. I invited them because they both are like few of the most happiest people I know. Okay, not really lah. It's because like they're like my close friends, and I thought like as they prepare to embark on this new journey in university and or is going through university, I think it would be interesting to know what drives them, what makes them happy, and you know, what made them want to choose this course lah. So like the general question that like I want all of us to keep in mind is the one that is like what happiness is to you. So maybe you can start with that. If you have any thoughts about what happiness is to you, anything that brings joy to you, anything that brings a smile to you, like currently, like at this time frame, you can feel free to share. Yeah.
You want to go first or I go first?
You can go first.
Okay, so I think in the current context of happiness, right, I feel like first and foremost is family, right? Because I mean, family is a big part of like our life, right? And if you realize our families are, okay, especially our parents, they are getting pretty old, and I would think that it's quite important to like treasure them now or like in the coming future, because you realize as you go into uni, you join like all your like, before you get stuck in the cycle of just studying, grinding, then playing, hanging out with friends, you realize that the only time you get to spend with them are probably on weekends. But if weekends you suddenly have commitments, then you really maybe just see them once a week, right? And in a month, that's just 4 times. If you break it down to a year, it's just 50 times. So I think times like this become really like rare and special, right? So we should definitely dedicate more of like our hours to like parents, right? Because I think making them happy will like make me happy as well, right? As much as it sounds cliche to be like, you don't live for them, you live for yourself. But I think it's important to like live for them lah, for I guess a certain time frame, right? If you look at it, yeah. But that's happiness to me now. It's family first.
Family man.
Yeah. Are there any other instances like a particular instance of joy that you had in like maybe the past 2 years that you remember very fondly?
I think the biggest thing of this all is probably like getting into this scholars program. Yeah, so I mean, for people who don't really know me, right, I'm like not the most academically inclined guy and not the most hardworking guy, right? I think my prelims I got like 30 plus in Hwa Chong, which is pretty bad, man. But I mean, I did pretty well for A's, and I managed to get into a scholarship interview. And during the interview, I was being a complete bum, right? Because I applied for mechanical aerospace engineering, right? And I told them about like being on Tekong and looking at planes fly past every day. Honestly, I came out of the interview being like, oh man, goner. But 2 weeks later, they want me. So, I mean, regardless of whether the scholarship is prestigious or not, right? Being called a scholar is like, I mean, I'll take it, right?
Bobby G.
We see how it is.
Nice.
That's about it. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing. I think knowing you for the past 6 years. Yeah, I think like you've always been a source of joy to a lot of people lah. So like knowing what makes you happy, it makes us happy too lah. And yeah, I'm glad that you're able to share this like side of you that people might not be able to see on a day-to-day basis. So solid. 2 more happy moments, Bobby G. How about Mish? Do you have any like thoughts on that?
For myself, I guess happiness is like more of a concept to me. So to me, like it exists because you know that life is not as simple as it seems. So it's really like paying an homage to the bad side of life. That's how you try to make sense of the things that happen in your life, as well as the relationships that you have with people. So for myself, it's about having that gratitude and awareness that what we have shouldn't be taken for granted lah. I think quite recently, like in this season of my life, I keep thinking about how like we all as individuals lead such unique lives. And even though like when we interact with others and when we talk to them and we see this side of them, like we may assume that they are happy and everything. But if you think about it, everyone has their own struggles and their own battles to fight. But I think what's beautiful about that, it's not a reason for us to like fall into despair, but more so it's a reason for us to really appreciate the time that we have on a day-to-day basis, and also to bond with one another and really to support each other regardless of whether we know what the people around us are going through. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but basically happiness is just like being able to connect with the people around you on a very human basis. And just being grateful for each and every day, because you never know, man. You never know.
Do you have any like personal experiences where you were like very, very overjoyed, like in JC or before university, anything like that?
Very overjoyed.
Like one moment that you can like describe as, wow, this is happiness, man. Like it's something that I want to have in my life, that kind of thing. Something that you're like, wow, unforgettable, you know.
I think a lot of these moments came like from CCA, like in secondary school. The dance. Oh my gosh. But it's in Nanyang. But I think a lot of it came from then, because like the community there was really quite solid, and we really spent like a lot of time choreographing pieces together and like practicing together and like trophy cabinet shout out together.
Love.
Yeah. So even though it was like you need to put in the work to make sure that the pieces are well practiced and all, but I think like it was a point in time where I felt very like loved and I enjoyed doing what we were doing. Yeah. So it wasn't like a super like pow, like super overjoyed moment, but it was a point in time that I think I will cherish for a very long time.
Like the process.
Yeah, and like the conversations
The
and the
whole grind.
moments that we shared. Yeah.
Oh, very interesting. I think like I wouldn't say you guys have very similar thoughts, but I think like the foundation of what happiness is to you two would be some form of community. Like we all agree.
Yeah.
I think for me is similar. Like I feel most happy. Okay, it's kind of, but I feel most happy when other people around me are happy. I like to be a source of happiness for people. Yeah, I think like happiness shouldn't be contained to yourself lah. Like, as much as when you win a competition, like I was on water polo, then like I always lose. But as much as we win competitions, right, like it's not about like that domineering feeling that you feel, but it's like seeing people around you happy and also like sharing that joy with people around you. Of course, like to some extent giving those who lost to you like honor and respect. But I digress. But I think my main point is that when I spend time with friends, with people, what makes me the most happy is when they are overjoyed, when they're happy and they are fulfilled, they find it meaningful and they enjoy the time you spend together. But I guess for me, a more personal experience of joy would probably be like when you work hard for something and you see progress. Like I like to believe in delayed gratification. Like very very simple things like reading books or choosing not to bring your phone to the bed so you sleep like 2.5 hours earlier.
Oh.
Shit. Or like like dieting for a few months and losing weight. Like these little things bring me the most joy because I know that like after denying yourself of like what's like the most like I guess the most comfortable happy thing, you are able to achieve greater like greater success, greater happiness. I think that's what's important to me lah. Knowing what's more important in the bigger picture. Like for instance, like we talk about health, it's like you lose weight not just to impress like people or to impress girls or what. Okay, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But like it's to protect your future where like with the different diseases that could hit you on top of the random things like cancer or sickness. Like you do yourself the best favor you can do in the future, and also put yourself in a position where you can best serve your friends and your family, and like what you say, I love your family. Right? Yeah. Cool. And honestly, this topic you can talk for hours. Like what are you talking about?
Yeah.
But I guess for the sake of us and for the viewers, like maybe we can move on a bit. Yeah. So like the next question I wanted to ask you all would probably be like what inspired you? So what role models you guys had growing up, and what pushed you to where you are now, like in terms of character development, like academics, or the decisions that you make from a day-to-day life lah. Yeah. So if you are ready to share, you can go ahead.
Okay. I'll go first?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think my biggest like role model or someone I look up to, right, will probably be like Tim Duncan, right? He used to play for Spurs in the NBA. Yeah. Cause when I first like started out playing basketball, which was influenced by my brother, I had one basketball jersey at home, right? And that was Duncan's jersey, right? But back then I didn't know who he is, I didn't know about the NBA. But anyway, I watched like some of these guys' mixtapes, right? And his mixtapes were all very like lame, right? To be fair, it was like really lame. It was just like a very angry guy doing like B-sport bank shots. And it's just like he was throwing the ball in. If you watch his mixtape, right, it's literally the same move in different games, repeated 20 times, right? But he'll be like clocking 20 plus points a game, and he will just be like stunned, Like Kobe will probably like put up shots, then he will like But Duncan will just do it. Then like, easy game, man, right? And he was one of like the people I really looked up to when I was growing up, cause he was really humble about stuff, right? If you all watch basketball, right, you will know like on Kobe's like closing season, he went on like a whole like NBA tour. Like every season, every city he went to, right, he made like a very big like event out of it, right? Like it was a very glorified like retirement, right? Whereas Duncan, I don't think he told anyone. He just went to like play his games. Then at the end of the season, he's like, "Oh, bye guys, thanks first." Then he just out. Right? He's like a very low key, hardworking guy, and I think humility is like one very important trait that he displays, which we should all learn from, right? Staying low key, staying true to the grind, staying humble, right? I think that's one of like the most important things growing up. Yeah, and also another guy who I really look up to is my dad, right? As in, my dad is not the most soft guy, but he gives some very like interesting quotes. Yeah, here and then, right? And one thing he always say, right, is 没有吃过猪肉, right, 不代表你没有见过猪跑. Which means that if you never eat pork before, right, it doesn't
It doesn't mean that you've never seen a pig running before.
Okay, yeah. I drunk already.
Yeah.
But basically, he means that, right? A lot of things in life, right? It's like for up to you to like adapt and see, right? I don't need to teach you everything, right? Some things I need to give you a foundation, and once I lay out the foundation for you, right? Whatever you do from there, right? It's really up to you already. If you're gonna be lazy, then that's fine, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But if you are like a bit more like ons or more useful, right? I think you can make a lot of just like a base foundation. And I think that's one of like the most important things growing up. Like willing to adapt, like learn, step out of your comfort zone, grow, right? See new things, experience, and make connections between like things. Yeah, I think that's very important. Yeah, that's for me.
Nice. For myself, I don't really have like a idol that I look up to. I think all throughout my life, it's mostly my mom that's been there, and someone close that I really respect and admire lah. I think it's because like we get to really know each other on like a personal basis as well. That really makes a huge part of the relationship work. From her, I don't know, I love her a lot, and I have a very close relationship with her lah. So a lot of the things that I go through in life, I will share with her, and she will also share bits and pieces of her life, like her past, before she had us, and then like after having us, and like all the struggles that she's had. And it's really a window for me to see into her life, and like it's really so nice to have had her like throughout my life, even though like as with any relationship there are ups and downs, but through it all, like she was always there for me and for the family unconditionally. Yeah, and I think it's really something that is like not to be taken for granted lor. Yeah, so I don't know, she's just been the pillar of my life, like for ever since young. Yeah, I would say.
It's pretty sick.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Family, bro.
Family. I think like inspirations, a lot of it comes from the family, and it's really a pity if like you know, some kids, they don't really have like complete families. It's really a heartbreak to me. And I think for myself, you know, after asking you all this question, like I realized I haven't think about this before. But you know, of course, as you guys were sharing, I was inspired by you know, your devotion and your love for your family, as well as like the different experiences you all had. I mean, for me, I guess when I'm thinking about my past when I was younger, like okay, this kind of funny, but I think a big part of it was like cartoons and like entertainment and anime. Okay, like please don't judge me, please. Don't cancel me. But I think right, like a lot of the main characters or protagonists of the shows are always someone that's very flashy. There is always someone that stands out. Like I think I enjoy that a lot. I like to be someone that stands out. Perhaps it's something to do with my previous hurts. Like I think in the past when I was younger, I was kind of like left out in communities because I migrated to Canada and back and things like that. But I think I wanted to be someone that stands out on my own strengths, on my own like achievements or things that I just being unique lah. And another thing that I took away from like all these cartoons is that there's always someone there that will mentor these people. That's always in the shadows. That might be seen with disdain, might be mocked, but they're always there for them. And I think kind of a cruel twist of events is that that's kind of how, in some way, I have treated my parents. So like I think like wanting to be unique, wanting to be special, meant that through my puberty times, I exchanged that for like some sense, some kind of like looking down on my parents or like not seeing them for what they are. But in reality, the truth is that like both my dad and my mom were very big pillars of my life. Like, you know, having this ability to learn how to film, like do a podcast like this is like attributed to my dad. Having a house that's designed like this can be attributed to my mom and the hard work they have done over the years to save enough money to buy a house in Singapore, no less, right? And I think, right, like as I think about it, as I grow older, we realize that like what you said, like our parents are getting older, and that we are going to take the mantle, not only just to support them financially, but also the responsibility to provide our future children with the kind of environment and the kind of like garden that they have given us for us to be nourished and flourish. Like what you said, I can't repeat it. My Chinese is Jack, but I think another thing is like I guess. For me, it's religion. I'm a Christian, and I think like the people in church that surround me, as well as my own relationship with my God, like I think has built a lot of the values that I have and inspires me to be someone that people enjoy being around and someone that like can really impart knowledge and also someone that is humble enough to accept criticism. There are a lot of factors, but just let us not forget like who really brought us to here, like our parents, like our friends when they were younger, our teachers. I think I shout out to like our Hwa Chong teachers, our Nanyang teachers. I think these people are very important in cultivating us when we're in our rebellious phases. Okay. Wow. Did not expect this to get so deep, but okay. I have few more questions. I think we can like get going with that. Next one would be like, what motivates you to go forward from here? Because we talked about where you are currently, we talked about our past, what has inspired us, but I also want to know what will drive you forward. I think this is very important because right, when we struggle in uni, when we struggle with relationships and whatever, always like the thing that will push us forward will always be our purpose. So perhaps you can think about that. You can share like what you think will motivate you to go further in this time, especially with the volatile nature of our not only our economy but also with this like COVID out there. Like who knows whether we
Your mic drop?
Yeah. It's okay, I get.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Don't worry, but the volatile nature of COVID and making it a bit difficult, or like maybe opportunities are squandered, like your scholarship, like overseas stuff, or you going to Australia to study. Like, what will continue to push you forward? Or let me touch wood, something like tragic happens. Like, what will push you to continue going forward? What will help you to keep your joy and happiness? Yeah. So, it's a loaded question.
Okay. Okay, maybe I go first. So I think two mentalities like I really stand by like recently. Okay, the first motto is like, okay, it might sound cringe, right? But it's like
It's okay, own it. Own it. Say it with confidence.
and either you win or you learn, right? It's not either you win or you lose. It's either you win or you learn. Really. But I think that's a very important part of life. Like this kind of mentality, like bring it in, right? If you don't win, right, you learn. Right? You don't think about losing. You always think about something you can take away. Right? And I think this what can like make you go forward, right? Because every day, as Damien said, new day, new me, always on the upgrade, right? It's true, right? If you are improving every day, you are getting better, right? You know how to deal with situations. You go out of your comfort zone. You learn new things, right? And the second motto, okay, it's not really a motto, but it's also another like mentality, mindset kind of thing, right? It's adaptability, right? It's like you going to maybe a different situation, but trying to adapt to a situation, or maybe making the situation adapt to you, right? You want to be able to do that, right? You don't want to go into a new space, then you're like, oh my, how? Then you just squirm, then you just hide there, then you try to like pass your time, wait for everything to be gone, then just move on, right? That's not like a very good mentality to have, right? If you try to adapt to circumstances, right, you always learn, right? There's always something to be learned, right? Or if you are good enough, you make the circumstances adapt to you, right? But either way, I think like having a very good mentality is what can push you forward, because like nothing really is very tangible, right? Not tangible. Nothing really is very like permanent, right? But having a good mindset, right, is always a very, I would say, important thing, right? A very, if you really stand true to these values, right, you are very grounded in your approach towards like anything in life, right? You can just bring the same approach everywhere, right? And I think it always works out in the end, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think 100% agree. I really like the two mottos that you cited.
100%.
Okay. Yeah, I think like
Okay.
yeah. I think I fully agree with what you say also. I think upon reflecting on like the events in my life, LMAO, 21 years lah, okay lah, a bit of street cred, a bit only.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think really like following A levels, if you all don't know, I took a gap year and then I took another gap year. Yeah, so I think during our schooling years, I really tried to get good grades, like be that good student and like achieve excellence and stuff like that. So I think it's something that is commonly faced by most students lah. Like we fear failure and it's like a taboo word and everything. Which is good if your goal is trying to achieve good paper results. But in terms of your mental health, in terms of guarding your mind and your heart, and really having a good set of values to fall upon, it's not exactly the best way to go about doing things. Yeah, so I think after leaving like the official school system, I'm very privileged to be able to really put that to the test, whether you win or you learn.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, cause throughout the gap year life, like, I didn't plan for it, but it really was something of a blessing lah. Cause I made the decision to want to source things out myself. Cause in school, like a lot of the things are given to you, and like sometimes you're just like, oh, okay,
Too easy.
shiok, yeah, I'll just
Yeah,
take
man.
it and like go with it.
It's
But
really just
tick. But with a gap year, like you need to plan your time lah, depending on what you wanted to do. So for me, I really set my sights on wanting to figure out what exactly I wanted to do with my future. Yeah, so going on that same vein of things, like I just went on to search for opportunities, and thankfully was able to lend myself some opportunities to do that. Yeah, so I really felt for it when you said that it's either you win or you learn, because I really don't think failure should be that much of a taboo, or rather like the way we perceive failure is something that we need to like change and reassess lah. Yeah, because it's stopping us from wanting to achieve more. It's kind of holding us back, and it's not super empowering lah. Yeah, if you see someone and you just label them to be a failure because they are leading unconventional lives. Yeah. I guess for myself, like moving forward, what will continue to motivate me is like to guard my heart and my mind and to set my sights on what is pure. So recently I turned to Christ, and I think that it's really a decision that a decision.
Yes, of course.
What time already? But yeah. So I came to Christ, and I think it's really one of the best decisions that I've made in my life, because if I look back on my teenage years / adolescent years, I feel like most of the time I let the circumstances around me dictate how I should be and how I should feel and how I should perceive the future. So it really was very tiring, and I didn't really I couldn't really find a footing on something that is more solid and more bigger than I am, which is kind of dangerous. Yeah, looking back, because it really just eats at you, whether you know it or not. Yeah, so for myself, like coming to Christ and knowing that my God has a plan that is pleasing and perfect in His eyes, not mine, is something that brings me a lot of comfort and a lot of like solidity. Yeah. And I don't know whether it's like super cliche lah, like citing all this, but for me, like as my personal testimony, is really quite life-changing lor. And like I say this not as a means of saying that in the future, like I won't find myself in situations where like I feel upset or whatnot. But I say this as like something for me to share about. I'm not sure. I'm not really making sense, but yeah, I think it's just knowing that there's something greater to look forward to.
Just being empowered by
Yeah.
God's like
Yes.
presence and power. Right?
Yeah, the empowerment aspect is very important lah.
I think also like you have like this kind of like safety net to fall back on, right?
Yeah.
So that you dare to like go and like try whack stuff, right? You know
Yeah.
that if like anything, you're still grounded somewhere.
It's kind of like a parent lor.
Yeah.
Like my
That's
mom
very good.
always being there. Yeah. And even if in conventional eyes, like you might not have done super well, might not have achieved like super high qualifications, but you know that at the end of the day, you set on this path with goals and supports in place, and regardless of the end result, it's really the journey lor. The journey and how it is a blessing to be able to take it. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope you all remember what you all said, because like you will always come back to help you when you are getting clapped or getting like slapped by life, right?
Yeah.
Wow. I really enjoyed that. I think I learned quite a lot from like what you said. I mean, of course, it's not my first time hearing it, but I still think every time you say it, it doesn't like the value doesn't drop away. And yeah, I think for me, like what motivates me is always remembering what my purpose is. So I feel my purpose is to be like a doctor, a medical practitioner, not just to earn money. I mean, that's not very important, but it's like to be a source of support for those who are suffering. And I think like with that in mind, it helps me to go forward in studying, in like really like just pushing myself forward lah, because I know that like with this little amount that I am like suffering, in the future I have the chance to alleviate more of that. But on the grander scheme of things, I think what you said just now, like about having a security, that is to me the crux of how I like to live. I believe that if your legs are on quicksand, it's very easy to fall into a lot of very, very like undesirable things. First of all, it will be this idea of defining what is successful and what is not. You know, we talk about we win and we lose, or we win or we learn, right? But then like, what is win? As in, it sounds like a kind of a funny question, but really, what is win? The biggest example that I can think of is like, let's say in NS, like you're granted, let's say a commando officer role, right? Versus let's say some guy who's like an admin clerk, like doing admin work inside the office every day. Then there's like this kind of a running gag that is like, hey, walao, you admin job, 做 bo one, lepak every day, do nothing. But then like you cannot say that to him and expect him to like agree with you as if like, you know, I do nothing. I mean, I go there, lepak, enjoy, then go home. Because each of them have very different struggles, and not experiencing each other's struggles, you can't say anything about it. And the one thing that we struggle a lot, at least for me, coming from a background that is as privileged that I have, is validating people's struggles, or even worse, invalidating my own struggles. Because when we see that, like, let's say someone is studying a lot harder than us, right, to achieve something, right, we feel that what we're doing is inadequate. And I feel like it's really a pity to see my close friends like really berate or like downplay their efforts because of this. It's important to remember that what you have done is unique to you. What you have done is worth it, even if other people say otherwise, or even if you think otherwise. Because whatever you've gone through, no one has experienced. Whatever you've gone through, right, no one can have like that say on it. Of course, it's good to have opinions and criticism to keep you in check, keep you grounded, but your worth should not be dependent on someone else. To me, what drives me forward is knowing that I have an intrinsic worth, and I hope you guys discover that or have discovered that, because when your happiness and your motivation and your inspiration comes from within, no one can take that away. No circumstance, nothing can take that away. Yeah. So yeah, I think like we had a great time. I enjoyed talking to you about this. I think like whatever Jinhao shared and whatever Michelle shared, like we definitely shed some light as to what joy is, what happiness is to people. But most importantly, I think like, people who know you will see this side of you lah. And I do sincerely hope that like this blesses you guys. But I also hope that like this conversation that we had can open opportunities for friends, family members to just like witness the growth of your friend or your child, and also have opportunities to have conversation with you. Like, I'm sure a lot of people in our school don't know this side of you or don't know this side of me, and I'm sure like maybe like they don't know your testimony and your breakthrough in your life. I think like having this chance to really grow your social circle and really like influence people in your own special way, I think that's very, very important to me. I guess that's kind of one of the other reasons why I like to do this. I want to capture our conversations. So, anything else you want to share?
I think like this serves as like a really nice platform to like always remind us, right? When we are sharing, we also like give ourselves a timely reminder to keep ourselves like in check, to keep ourselves grounded, right? And I think above all this is that you want to be true to yourself, definitely, right? Like when you say stuff, don't like just say it for saying it. Like if you have a motto, don't just like throw it around, right? Like if you don't believe in it, then it's like really useless, right? Like if you want PMA, like you want positive mental attitude, but just go around being a like quite toxic guy, then that's kind of like really useless, right? Like you try to like practice this kind of mentality like at any part of the day when you feel like your emotions are like taking over you, right? Like they are not aligned with like what you are like feeling normally, right? You try to practice this more, right? Like what makes you angry, what makes you sad. And you just try to practice this kind of mentality. Yeah, ask yourself questions. If you are true with yourself, then life gets much easier to live, right? I feel, right? Yeah.
For myself, it's just love endures everything. Yeah. So
On Corinthians 13.
don't
Shiok, bro. So, you want to intro your boyfriend?
anyhow say. Yeah.
You leave
I
that
guess
for another day.
the after party. Just kidding. Oh my god.
Do you want? Yeah, I'm kidding.
Yeah, but I think it's really just I hope we're all able to live our lives and appreciate what we have, as well as to go through every circumstance and every interaction we have with the awareness that everyone is unique and special and very much cherished. So yeah, we should try not to superimpose like what we think should happen on situations as well as on other people, because even if we might not mean for it to be that way, sometimes it can come to be quite handicapping, and I think we should all deserve the freedom to best live out our lives as they are created to be lah. Yeah. So go out there and love yourself and love everybody. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't invalidate yourself. Yeah. Just don't invalidate yourself. Like, be critical, be stringent, but don't invalidate yourself. Yeah. So anyways, like with that, I guess you can like end off today's like second edition of
Thank you for coming to episode 2 of
Potong Pasir Podcast. Yeah. Hopefully I can have like a few more episodes.
Yeah,
more.
man.
Yeah, but
I mean, if you want to join, just drop ululululu DM on
gosh.
Insta, right? If you have any interesting stories to share,
yeah.
right?
So yes, thank you for watching. If you all made it this far, yes,
Have a great semester at school.
Yes.
all the best.
Yeah. Thank
Yeah,
you.
man.
Yay.
Hey, good job.